You ever have one of those days where the universe lines up every old grudge and lets it snap all at once like a rubber band you didn't know you were holding? Yeah, that was the Sunday. Our story blew up right in the middle of Oakwood Meadows, the kind of neighborhood where you half expect the mailman to tip his hat and wave, where people treat their lawns like altars and newcomers like uninvited guests at Thanksgiving. It started quiet birds in the old oak sunlight on the grass, and my wife Elena, 7 months pregnant, glowing and tired, just settling onto the back porch, with her favorite book, Lemonade, sweating on the armrest, her hand resting protectively on that beautiful belly, like she's holding the future right there under her shirt. Our house was still new to us, this weathered craftsman at the end of the lane, our first real foothold in a world that didn't hand out second chances to folks like us, especially not a civil rights lawyer and a black Latina artist with big dreams and a last name that stood out on every HOA email. Now, here's the thing about Oakwood Meadows. On the surface, it's manicured and neighborly, but underneath the soil's tangled with roots, old money, old grudges, and an HOA that acts like it owns the air itself. We weren't the right kind of neighbors, not in Helen Baxter's world. Helen lived 2 doors down, always in her crisp whites, hair fried, and yellow binoculars glued to her face like she's guarding Fort Knox, not a street full of minivans and kids' bikes. Some folks are born nosy, but Helen, she made it an Olympic sport. The day we moved in, I caught her glaring from behind the curtains, lips moving, probably reciting the bylaws to herself just to keep her blood pressure steady. So that lazy Sunday with me rushing out to the office for last-minute trial prep, fighting police abuse because life's never simple. Elena's just trying to breathe, find a little peace, and Helen, she decides she's the star of her own reality show. She spies Elena alone, relaxed book in hand, and that's all the evidence she needs for a meltdown. You know the type? The I've lived here for 40 years and I decide what's normal routine. In her mind, Elena wasn't a homeowner. She was some kind of squatter, a threat, an other who didn't belong in her perfect view. Helen storms over, phone out already, recording voice, trembling with fake authority. "Excuse me, you need to leave. I'm calling the police right now." My wife, shocked but trying to stay calm, says, "We own this house. Can I help you with something?" But Helen isn't looking for help. She's looking for a scene. "People like you don't belong here," she spits out. And in that moment, it's not just about race, it's about fear and power and every small cruelty folks like Helen carry around like a purse dog. I can only imagine how Elena felt alone, pregnant, suddenly under attack in her own backyard. Helen's dialing 911, spinning a story about a dangerous intruder, her voice dripping with the kind of lies that get people killed. There's a suspicious person, looks armed, refusing to leave, acting aggressive. I feel threatened. She even adds, "She fits the description of trouble we've been having, like that'll make it official." When the cruisers roll up, sirens blaring, neighbors peeking through the blinds, I get a ring alert on my phone. I look down, and my blood goes cold. Elena's got her hands up, a cop in her face, his hand on his gun. That's Officer Tom Harland, Helen's nephew, big guy. Big reputation, history of complaints nobody wants to talk about. He doesn't hesitate. Marches up, cuffs Elena like she's a flight risk. Ignores every plea about the baby, about her back hurting, about the fact that she lives here. Hands up. You're under arrest. And just like that, peace turns to chaos. The young rookie behind him looks away, nervous, but does nothing. Helen's filming, probably thinking she's about to go viral for saving the neighborhood. And I just see red. I don't call 911. I call Darius Kane, FBI, sharp as a tack, and someone who actually gets it. I'm yelling into the phone. "It's happening, man! My house!" Darius says, "Stay calm. I'm 2 minutes away." I fly home. All I see is flashing lights. Elena being shoved into a cruiser, neighbors whispering. I lose it. Shout, "Get your hands off my wife." And Harlan turns, sneers, until Darius rolls up, badge out. The color drains from Harlan's face because they've got history, bad history, federal investigation swept under the rug, and now Darius is staring him down cold and calm as a judge. Uncuff her. This is federal now. That's all it takes. Helen panics, tries to live stream the moment, spinning a tale about how police are under attack, how they are destroying the neighborhood, but the crowd isn't buying it. One neighbor shouts, "Helen, they live here and it breaks her." She spins raving about how people like us ruin everything. She's shouting into her phone, desperate, but the story's already out and it isn't hers anymore. By the next day, every news site in the country has a headline, "Suburban Bigot Calls Cops on Pregnant Neighbor." Things move fast after that. My firm sues Helen for harassment and defamation. The police department faces civil rights charges. Old files about Harlan come back to haunt him. Protests bloom outside Helen's house, peaceful but relentless. For a month, she can't leave. Neighbors she once bullied now show up with casseroles and stories, finally united against her hate. And the real twist, the Pattersons, the folks who sold us the house, come forward. Turns out Helen tormented them for years, called animal control on their old dog, left anonymous letters about their son's car, begged them not to sell to foreigners. Their affidavit cracks the case wide open. In court, Helen gets hammered, loses her house, her reputation, and Harlan fired under investigation, his whole world caving in. You'd think that'd be the end, right? Justice served a garden planted in Helen's honor. "May peace outgrow hate," reads the plaque. Elena gives birth to our daughter Sophia. We try to move forward, but Oakwood Meadows isn't finished. The HOA starts sending violations, first about the plaque, then the grass, then noise complaints about a baby's cries. It feels personal. Sprinklers accidentally go off when Elena walks by. Packages vanish. Other moms avoid her at the park. And then Helen's son Douglas returns, whipping up the old guard, spinning stories about his mother, how she was the real victim of cancel culture. Led by Reginald Thorne, king of the golf club set, they start a group called Oakwood Legacy, fundraising for justice, hiring a lawyer named Slade to slap us with a $10 million lawsuit for harassment and defamation. It's surreal. Suddenly, we're the bullies, the outsiders all over again. Things get dark. Deliveries stop. Whispers everywhere. Even Marcus and Elena start to crack, fights, tears, sleepless nights. But you know what? Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. Lawson. A quiet neighbor passes Elena a folder ledgers showing Thorne's been embezzling HOA funds for years. Lavish trips, bribes, half the lawsuit money paid straight from the HOA account. We hand it off to the DA and Darius, who crashed Thorne's garden party with a federal raid. Fraud, conspiracy, the works. The whole rotten cabal falls apart. Thorne pleads guilty, Douglas skips town, and suddenly folks want to apologize. The HOA changes, real reforms, real diversity. Our garden. Still their plaque and all, a stubborn monument to the mess and beauty of starting over. You ask me if it's all worth it. Was justice really served? Or did we just fan the flames? That's the kind of question that keeps neighborhoods up at night. Some folks say we went too far. Others say not far enough. All I know is sometimes you have to dig up the roots before you can really plant something new. So what would you have done? Let it go or fought back? Tell me in the comments. Whose side are you on, and what does justice look like in your neighborhood?